There are several factors that can lead to poor orchid growth. Correctly identifying the source of the problem is key to understanding how to treat each issue and avoid them in the future. In this video, we'll review the most common causes to orchids growing poorly and discuss how to remedy each issue. Overwatering and underwatering are the two most commonly seen problems. As we discussed in our general orchid care video, pot size and decayed potting media can play important roles in these issues. Overwatering is the most common problem associated with poor performing orchids. Symptoms can look very similar to those of underwatered plants because it often rots the roots and therefore prevents them from taking up an adequate amount of water. The first thing to do is to examine the roots of the plant. If the roots are rotted, soft, black, and soggy, then chances are the plant is being overwatered. If the potting media is fresh and the pot size is not too large, then you'll need to cut back on the frequency of your watering. Also, because the rot is often associated with a bacteria or fungus, you may need to drench the plant or pot with a good fungicide or bactericide. See our video on orchids, common pests and diseases for more information. Underwatered plants often exhibit limp or withered leaves, stems, or bulbs. This happens because the plant is not getting enough water to keep the leaves, bulbs, or stems rigid. If the pot is not too small for the plant and the roots are in good health, they're white and firm, then this is easily remedied by watering the plant more frequently. Remember that cattleyas and dendrobiums like to dry between waterings. Once the potting media dries out, you should water the orchid promptly. Do not let the orchid stay dry for a prolonged period. Also, realize that larger pots tend to stay wet longer than smaller pots. Overfeeding and underfeeding are other common problems. Orchids require plant food known as fertilizer. In nature, they receive this from dead or rotting plant and animal material. Regular feeding with an orchid plant food is essential to getting the best results from your orchids. There are several different nutrients that are required by the plant for proper growth. A plant food made specifically for orchids, such as Better-Gro Orchid Plus, typically contains all the nutrients your orchids need. For best results, always follow the directions on the plant food package. The most commonly observed issue with plant food use is overfeeding, which means feeding at a higher than recommended rate. This is born from the fallacy that if a little is good, more is better. Actually, over-fertilization can cause root burn, which can lead to root rot and/or stunted plant growth. Under-fertilized plants often have leaves that start to lighten in color, especially evident on the older leaves first, becoming more and more yellow. This leads to weaker, poor-growing plants that may not flower or produce very weak flower spikes or stems with fewer and smaller flowers than normal. In conclusion, most orchid problems are preventable. Keep your growing area clean, water only as necessary and as early in the day as possible, feed at recommended rates. There really is no magic to growing orchids successfully. Just a little know-how and some experience is all you need.